Good morning everyone, thanks for coming on. I think an overview of the Challenge Cup, I thought it was a really good development tool for us. Yeah, we were disappointed that we conceded the goals that we did, but at the same time I think in terms of having 6 really competitive games against varied opposition, different formations, different challenges, we faced everything from losing players on the day of a game, COVID, injuries, going down to 10 players against arguably one of the better teams in the league. We kind of faced everything, and I think we grew game to game and learned lots of lessons that will hopefully stand us in good stead for the regular season.
Morning, Coach. So with some experience now, seeing your players in real time, getting some real time minutes, are you happy with the development at this point? And have you been establishing some pillars in your team moving into the regular season now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what the Challenge Cup was about. It was about exposing people to minutes. It was about seeing partnerships form on the pitch, about relationships, about embedding our principles and philosophies. And I definitely, listen, we've had bumps, we know that. We haven't been perfect by any means, but we've definitely seen progress. And I've been really pleased with where we're at so far, but we need to keep pushing. We need to keep improving, we know that. We know that Houston's going to be a very different test for us at the weekend.
And just to follow up on that, could you talk a little bit about the development of the sport? Obviously, you have different generations of the sport, in this team, and you have some very young players. Have you seen the sport grow in rapid years, or how is that experience like?
Yeah, listen, I've been in the game a long time, and I look at I used to pay to play. Look, we're sitting here in a professional training ground dedicated to a women's team only. I've never had that before in any place I've been at. So you talk about growth, yeah, absolutely, and I'm at an incredible club in terms of investment into the female game. In terms of the young players, I think we're one of the teams that have played the most rookies, the most minutes, and I believe in young players, and I believe in giving young players a chance and exposing them, and knowing that they're going to have bumps and hurdles, and they might have good games, and they might have games where they're not as good, but it's about development, and I think we've got some incredible young players in this team, and we've got some great senior players that are leading the way and helping them and supporting them and guiding them, so we've got a great squad here.
Appreciate it.
Thoughts on the regular season? I'm just excited to get started. I think we had a good opportunity to kind of get our feet underneath us and test ourselves against some good opposition, but ultimately we've been just preparing for this moment, and we're really excited to get out there in Houston and make a statement of who Wave is and what we're here to do.
And I'll just add that I think we've grown so much as a team in the last month throughout this Challenge Cup. I think it was a really good challenge, no pun intended, for us, and I'm really looking forward to getting the season started. We've been kind of together here training day in and day out for the last 2 months or more than that. So it's now time to test ourselves and get out there. And I think that this team is going to do great things this year.
Good morning. Now that you got to play the Challenge Cup and had a chance to know your teammates better, what is something you both have learned about your teammates, whether it's tactically or about their game mentally?
Yeah, I think ultimately the biggest thing that we've seen so far and that I'm incredibly proud of is the amount of fight that this team has. I think individually and as a group, we've seen us come out of really hard situations that we've ultimately put ourselves in, but we've been able to battle out of those, and I think that's something that's really hard to teach and learn. So it's just, I'm really proud to be a part of a team that already has that ingrained in them. And Casey's kind of instilled that and brought people in who she knew had that. We do have an incredible amount of talent and experience and all of that, but ultimately those things are just really hard to learn and teach. So I think I'm just really proud of that as a group, and we've already seen, as Alex said, our crowds have been amazing, and the biggest thing for me is I feel like when we play at home we have 12 people on the field, and that's the biggest thing for me. And obviously when we go on the road we need to prove ourselves and step up to the plate and make that 12th man proud at home. But that's the biggest thing. I think having that last player at home on the field is going to make the difference for us at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I just think to add on what Kailen said, which is all true, we've just been really big on collaboration within this club, and kind of learning together and growing together, knowing that we have to expedite the process of getting to know each other, both on and off the field, to create that success on the field. And I think that we're putting in the work now to make that happen.
Can you talk a little bit about what the locker room feel is like going into the season? Obviously, everybody's going to be excited, but on the day-to-day, what's that training like going into the season? Is there banter? Is there competition between each other? Obviously, some top players on offense and defense training against each other. Is it a sense of diamonds cutting diamonds? Could you just give an insight on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have an incredibly competitive group, which I love to be a part of, and I think that banter is so important. And it's definitely there. It's definitely there. I think the locker room is a hilarious place to walk into, and only a select few get to walk into it. But we just we have a great group of people, and I think that dynamic off the field creates the chemistry that we need on the field. And like Alex was saying, like, teams have been together for 10 years, but this team feels like it's been together for that long. We've only been together for 12 plus weeks, but I think we have an upper leg thinking that throughout the season it's only going to get stronger.